Sikshayati, platform for eminent authors, engaging teachers, successful students. To know more, email. Acceptance of delivery of goods. Acceptance of goods means final assent of the buyer that he has accepted the goods. When the buyer receives the goods and takes possession of them, it does not imply that he has accepted the goods. Acceptance is something more than mere possession. Rules of acceptance of delivery of goods. The buyer must accept the delivery of goods if it is made in accordance with the contract of sale. Delivery time, where certain time has been fixed in the contract for return of goods, the ownership shall pass to the buyer on the expiry of such specified time if the buyer retains those goods even after the expiry of such time. Where no time has been fixed in the contract for return of goods, the ownership shall pass to the buyer if he fails to return the goods to the seller within a reasonable time. Intimation, when the buyer intimates to the seller that he has accepted the goods, the ownership shall pass to the buyer. Implied acceptance, if the buyer does anything inconsistent with the ownership rights of seller in relation to such goods, for example where the buyer pledges, lends or uses the goods, or when the buyer retains the goods delivered to him for a reasonable time without intimating the seller about rejection of goods, the delivery is deemed to have been accepted by the buyer and the ownership shall pass to the buyer. Examination of goods. In absence of any specific agreement regarding inspection of goods, the buyer has the right to examine the delivered goods which are not previously been examined by him, and the seller must give reasonable opportunity to the buyer to make inspection of the goods. If reasonable opportunity of examination of goods is not given to buyer, the buyer may refuse to accept the goods delivered. If the seller gives the buyer a reasonable opportunity of examination of goods and the buyer refuses to examine the goods, the buyer cannot make the seller liable. If it is found that the goods are of different description and therefore the buyer cannot repudiate the contract, if the buyer repudiates the contract, the seller can claim damages from the buyer. Thank you for watching the video. Kindly write your comments. Click on the red subscribe button at the bottom of the video to get more details and free ebook. Email us.